We're live yet?
We are live.
We are live. I'm still backstage.
No, we are live here. Let's go over here and we're going to take off the overlay. How's it going?
There we go.
Here we are. How's everybody doing today?
That's awesome.
Okay.
Yeah. We are so excited to have you.
We got about 9 people in here right now. The number's climbing there a little bit there. So keep on going here. As we are rolling through here. Good afternoon, Carrie Farrell as well. Good to see you. Welcome. All right. Okay. So as we start going here, just make sure that you put your questions inside of the chat there. We have Colette here. She's going to be doing all things Eduphoria.
I hope so.
If you want the queen of Eduphoria.
No, that would no queen. I don't
queen?
need no queen.
I was going to put that down there at the bottom. Bad. I didn't think she'd like that. But she does know a thing or two. So we're going to jump in here. I'm going to let her take over here and get us going.
Yeah. So I'm excited. We have some slides that we're going to with the new Aware. I know it moved into beta last year. It moved to the new Aware in the spring. And then this year, you know, they're really wanted everybody to move on over. And then we kind of ripped the Band-Aid off and Classic Aware was gone last week. So just let us know, are you beginning, intermediate, advanced, or you've been using Classic Aware and kind of always hit the return to Classic every time? So just kind of wanting to see who we have in the room. What you got there?
So we got Diana. Oh, I couldn't hear a while ago. We
got
there.
Oh, can they hear now?
They can hear now.
Okay, good. So go ahead and put in the chat where you think you are. Beginning, intermediate, advanced, or you've been clicking that button every time until it went away and then you panicked when it went away. You've been using Classic Aware. And you can say 1, 2, 3, or 4 based on those bullets. 1, beginner, 2, intermediate, 3, advanced, 4, been using Classic Aware.
All right, we got Christy Meggs at a 4.
A 1 to a 2. I like that. I figured somebody'd do a 1.5 or a 2.5. There you go. 2, 2. Good. Intermediate. Got any 3s?
Got any 3? Let's see.
3, I'll let them lead. Oh, now they're not going to put a 3 because I said that.
Cindy Kane. Okay, guys.
Good. Well, I hope whether you're beginning, it looks like we're both like beginning and intermediate. So that's great. I hope that you're going to take away something. I'm super excited. I feel like every time I get in here, I learn more. So I might even miss a tip or trick that you've already found out that you want to make sure that you share today too. So I'm just going to kind of go through there. So just give you a little bit of background information. The goal of Eduphoria changing, the reason why they changed, a lot of people like to know why. It was they wanted everything to be accessible in 3 clicks or less. So used to, you all know you had to click to get back to a test and open up all these things. And so 3 clicks or left, that it would have the continue where you left off. You would be able to access a test that you took, to be able to review the data or to do something to it if you were in the middle of creating it. It used to take 12 to 17 clicks, and now it will be 3 or less. The landing page is phenomenal. And so I'll explain how that's used. And they really wanted you to spend less time clicking to get to views and be able to make action plans with the data and information that you have. There are some videos that you can go watch on your own. That's actually where some of these slides came from. So they are linked and you can find them on YouTube. So let's just start. first with the new navigation overview. So this is kind of your landing page, and there's some really cool things you can do with saved views and stuff that we showed the principals yesterday. So I'm excited to share that with you. But basically, when you get to this landing page, this is what comes up. And on your left-hand side, you can see there, those are your recently scored assessments. So always, whenever you get into Eduphoria the first time, what you're going to see right there are your recently scored assessments. So really, you don't even have to do any clicks to find a test. If it's listed right there, you can click and go right into your tests. Then on the right hand side, there under assessments, you're going to see the most recent assessment that you have been creating or that you did create. And so, again, if you started one and you need to go make it active or you need to make a change, that's right there with one click. So instead of having to go click on an assessments tab on the side, click on local assessments, click on your year, click on your grade, click on your course, all of those clicks, now it's right there for you. So those are some exciting things. It will show you the most recent 5 assessments that you wrote and the most recent 5 assessments that you gave. So you can create new assessment and new data views from here. And then we can also create saved views for you as well, which we'll show you in a minute. So that's just a little bit, again, that was just to make things easier. So let's take a look at the side navigation bar because some people have talked about not knowing and understanding how to get to things in the new Aware. So if you see the image there showed you classic Aware, and you can see how everything had a separate tab that you had to click on. And if you'll look and see the link to what that is now, they're really, instead of having tabs on the side that you had to click to, it's now in that frame, I guess you would say, on the left hand side. So what was analyze is now analysis right there at the top. And what was assessments is now assessments. And what was an item bank is now item bank. And what was students is now still students. So you can kind of see through there. And then everything that you used to see underneath there are either listed there, or I'm going to show you how you access other things by clicking on the gear next to assessments or item bank or students. So you no longer have to navigate between the tabs and remember what was where. It's all in that pane. I guess I said frame earlier, pane on the left-hand
I
side.
like paint. Mm-hmm.
Pane, frame, pane, whatever. So let's talk about analyze. So in the Analyze tab, if you're not in Quick Views, you can click to Quick Views. I thought some of these clicked around, but you can click on that Quick Views there, and you'll see tests across there. So one of the things that you can quickly do is you can see a specific grade or a specific subject. And I'm going to show you when we log in a minute how you can set a filter that is a default setting to where every time when you come in, if right now you're seeing math and reading and science and social studies and you only want to see reading, you can have a filter that's a save filter where when you go in, it only goes to reading. And you can still reset it, but that would be your default filter. So one of the things that a lot of people ask are, it comes up and when I click on this, which is really cool, one click and then it shows on a pane on the side and then I can see the test. I see all my students. I only want to see certain classes. So at the top, right next to where it says quick views, it says analyze tests. For a teacher view on that drop down right there, if you click next to where it says analyze test, there's a caret that drops down and that actually shows each of your class sections. And so then you could click a class section at a time from that way. So you can click the test, click your class section, and then analyze, and it would take you right there. The really neat thing about this, I think, is that previously, the only way that you could see multiple tests at a time was if an admin built that view for you. Now, every teacher, thankfully, has access to see different tests over time. So once I've given 4 CBAs and the STAR test or whatever from last year, I could see their STAR test from last year, those 4 CBAs by class, by student, all my students, and I could hit analyze and I could see a column for all of those at the same time. So that's pretty cool about Analyze. Are there any, like, I guess I'm going to get in more. I guess I keep going or I can stop if there are any questions right there specifically to analyze before I go on. And whenever I get in, I'll show you how to make a saved filter.
Yeah, remember, any questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat and we'll bring them up on screen and answer those. So, but yeah, we'll keep rolling.
Okay, so that's it for quick views. So the data views bank, this is basically where you can filter and find views pretty quickly. It's your quick views and your saved views. So when I show you how to save some views in a minute, do you see on this example on the screen where there's a little star like a favorite? Think of your favorites whenever you star things and favorite them. So you can save a filter and favorite things, and then they'll show in your favorites. And so you can go into a data views bank and you've kind of built yourself your saved views that you like. And so that was really, they were really hard to find before. I don't know that a lot of people really use the saved views the way that they were before, but this makes it really, really nice and easy to see. And you can have up to 5 favorite views. They really like the number 5.
Yeah. So you come in there, something quick, like you said, I think that's a huge help right there.
Yep. So that's showing you how you can favorite different views. You can favorite up to 5 views, like I said. So if you've got a view, you click that little star over to the side, and then you can favorite that view once you've built it in the data view bank. So new this year and super exciting. I don't know if you've given a test yet and been able to click on, but you have this single test analysis. So it's the next on the side over there. I'm going to go back and show you like single test. It was quick views, data views bank, single test. So if you've given a test and you click on single test analysis, this is something we upgraded to what's called Aware Premium this year in Robinson ISD, and you have access to this. It is super cool. It can help you draw conclusions and make actionable steps immediately without having to change a bunch of views and look at a different bunch of views that we've built like before. This slide happens to just be showing one of those views. It's not my most favorite one of them. My favorite one is the third tab over. So when we log in a minute, I'm going to show you that where you can see what was the most missed question immediately, and you can click on it. It'll show you the test question, and you can filter by who missed it and immediately see who missed that question and what answer they chose. And your percentage. So it's graphs, which I love because I'm a visual learner for sure. So it's right there, easy, one click away for you to analyze.
And I love that is super simple for them to then now really target in on that learning. So I like that.
Yeah, no more tally marks next to a test or writing kids' names down. I mean, in advance or scrolling through multiple sheets to figure that out. Like it's all going to be done for you. The reports is the last thing underneath the analyze area, and the reports are all the same. So once you click on the reports, those are all going to look the same as if you previously went into reports. I always like to remind teachers to use that teacher subcluster intervention report. After you go over time, it puts kids into groups for you. So it's super cool. Okay. We're going to move on to assessments. Do we have any questions in there that I need to answer?
So not a question, but Carrie Farrell says that she likes the star on the favorites. That is a very awesome tip. So that is awesome.
All right. So we're going to go on to the assessments tab. So different people will have different views. If you make assessments, I'm not going to go into how to make the assessments, but really this is where you would go. And once you start making the assessments, it's going to look exactly the same as it did previously. That part has not changed. But that, if you go under administer under the assessment tab, that's the old thing at the top that used to say test available. And now you can see how they've got their little squiggly arrow and a point there of now where it is. Once you click that test available, the rest of that is all the same. You can still click the 3 dots on the side, print the test booklet, preview the online assessment from there. As soon as whoever made the test makes it available, you can preview it. You can see it there. And then right next to that test available at the top is your online test proctoring. And that all looks the same. So really, you just have to access that test available from the side under assessments administer, and then everything else is going to look the same. Okay. If you do make the assessments for your grade level, to make a new assessment, you would click author, and then the new assessment is at the very top right next to author assessments. You would click that plus button there, and it would take you then into creating your new assessment, copying your assessment. And again, all of that part, once you get in, will look the same. One of the cool things that when you click into author is you can see the latest assessments right there, and you could go right back into it with one click. Where previously you had to go to assessments, you had to go to your campus or grade, you had to open the year, open your subject, open active or pending, find your test. And so now they're listed right there. Yes. It's so amazing. And you can even filter by years, filter by grades, filter by subject, or even just type in what you know the name of your test was, and it'll pull right up there. So again, just so many less clicks than what we had to do previously.
Like that a lot.
So I mentioned the little gear. I think it's a gear over there on the side. Okay, we go with gear, and that's where you have a few more features under assessments. If you used team settings, that's where those would be located under assessments. And that is it for assessments. So now I'm going to go to Item Bank. One of the other reasons why we needed to go away from Classic to the new is they were not updating and fixing bugs in Classic anymore either. And so also the Item Bank was no longer available there. So if you like to search questions and resources in the Item Bank, really all you just click on Item Bank questions and resources, and everything functions the same as it did previously. It's just located again in the pane on the left-hand side. I did want to say, and when I get in, don't let me forget, a lot of people Aware does this. A lot of programs do this. When you go in, it'll go into full screen. It'll kind of collapse that pane over at the side. So I want to make sure I remember to show everybody how to open that pane back up if you feel like it has gone. It's not disappeared, I promise. And you don't just have to memorize the icons. You can click that open at any time. So if it doesn't close on me, you'll help me remember to point that out.
So collapsible pane.
Yes, a pane frame, whatever we want to call it. Yeah, we're good with that. You can also favorite subjects and things in the Item Bank. So that's, again, another new feature. If you like the favorite kind of thing, the favorite icon is there now in Item Bank as well. Okay, so now we're going to talk about students at the bottom. There's some super awesome things that I love about students. So I'm not sure if it is some of those things are as helpful to teachers as it is for me, but I love some of the new things that I can do super easily in the Students tab. But this is where you'll find all your profiles. So you can search by student ID, a student name. Previously, it would not come up with anything here before, and it just came up blank, and you would have to put in a kid's name to go there. Now, whenever you go in, all of your students are going to populate that you have access to. And then you can filter. You can filter by teacher. You can filter by course. The course is what I super love because I can easily see how many kids are in certain courses. You could also filter by demographics or by special programs. So if you needed to see how many special ed students today you have or any other special programs, you can easily filter by that. You can also, when you filter by that, once you filter, you can also create monitor groups this way. And other people can create monitor groups as well. So if you have certain students that you're tracking for MTSS purposes, you could create a monitor group, or House Bill 1416, or your special ed students, and you could create a monitor group, and then you could view all of their assessments by that group. So those are super, super helpful. Another thing on the left-hand side, I think most of you have all gone in and created your portfolios. We've been using these for student learning objectives for quite some time in Robinson ISD, and I think most of you hopefully have already gone in and created your portfolio, but if not, it's also under the students area on that pane over there on the side, but you can see that. And then one of the new things that is coming soon, but I think it is already showing for us on the left-hand side, is this wonderful thing that I'm super excited to learn more about when it's fully accessible. And I think you guys are going to love it. It's called a mastery tracker. And so what you can do is you can track your standards that are assessed over time by student, and it'll show you their performance by standard, by student. And you can mark them by standard as exceeding, mastering, or limited. So if I have tested 3.8B 10 times or had 10 possible points, it'll show me that Willie has gotten 6 out of 10 possible points for that standard. So if I tested it 1 time, 2 times, or 3 times, it'll show me each of those columns. And then I can mark whether you've mastered or whether you're limited, and it's all color coded. So super neat for
like that.
Right.
That is huge.
Yeah.
Like that.
See their growth, see your groups. I mean, anything like that. So that mastery tracker is cool. It pulls all that data in there for you.
Right.
So
that's coming soon. Like
They haven't
tomorrow?
said soon, and I haven't played with it on a teacher
Okay.
side yet.
Okay.
So the button is
The
there.
button's there. All
The
right.
button is there. So full functionality. It's new that it showed up.
All
So
right. Be on the lookout, guys. So
yeah.
she'll be sending out that email as soon as it happens.
And if somebody gets in there and they already start playing around, if it's live, it looks different for me. So you might figure it out before I do. Monitor groups. Again, I kind of mentioned before how you can create monitor groups and how neat it is. New is now at the top where it says you can create a monitor group. So once you've created your group at the top, you can click plus and it'll automatically create monitor groups. So like if you've filtered kids by a certain thing, it'll have that plus at the top and it'll automatically create a monitor group for you from that student access list. Okay. Some of you have had to create student access lists. So if you, especially we do this for people that are not the teacher of record. So all of our special education teachers usually have student access lists, our dyslexia teachers, people that need access to students. So maybe they're tracking for MTSS purposes or something that don't have them in a class. Might want to be able to see their progress. Like if I do win time for somebody and I have them for House Bill 1416, but they're not my kid, I can create a student access list under that gear. And then we'll give you access to see information about that student.
Okay.
So super, super helpful.
Really easy to pull up all the information.
Okay. So now I want you, that's kind of the end of that.
All right.
So re-rate yourself, like out of the things. Now, do you feel better about where you are? Or do you feel like, oh yeah, now I think I've moved to intermediate with those little tips and tricks. I feel like I can get in there and I can do that. Re-rate yourself over there on the side and let me know kind of what you think. And I'm going to try to log into this demo side.
So 1 to 5. So 1 is beginner, 5 is, or was it 4?
4.
4.
1 beginner, 2 intermediate, 3
okay.
advanced, 4. I wish I still had
strong.
classic.
She's at a 4 right now. She's
all right.
right now at 4. All right, who else? Glenda's come up. She's now a 1 to a 2.
All right. Very good.
Right.
Yay. Sometimes you think sometimes you know more than you think you do.
Okay, Christy said, I can see, Christy, I see you right now. Where you? Oh, no, wait, that was me. Okay. It's Christy. Okay, I know you're at a 1 right now. I think you started out at a 0. I think that's where you were. Well, no, you put a 4 at the beginning.
Oh, so look, so now she's a beginner, so that's good. She knows how to navigate.
There you go.
Yay.
There you go. Heather Kane is now at a 2. Okay, so we're moving up the ladder. That's the growth I'm seeing. Okay, let's see here. Nana Newton said a 2, but I don't think we use a lot of this, and maybe because we don't do star, maybe on there somewhere.
So I mean, any test that you give, you're going to want to see those quick views and single test analysis. So I'm gonna log in and then show you that.
Even if you don't use star, this is going to be some really great helpful stuff. So stick around. We're going to keep rolling through. April Ides, I definitely feel more confident with classic, but we're going to go ahead and continue to help you feel more confident with the new one, though. That's what this is all about. Mary Shrunk 2 to 3. So all right, so we got some people growing too as well. Everybody's getting there. All right, here we go.
All right, I think I'm going to be able to get to my, hold on, I find my other window.
Remember,
there we go.
Curriculum at Robinson.
That's not it.
RSDweb.org. Oh, no, that's not that. That's not the right one. It's robinson.k12.tx.us. Sorry about that. You know the curriculum one.
Is it letting me share my screen now?
There it is.
So can you see that? Can they see that?
So you ready? You're on stage. There you are.
Okay. So I'm in now. So I'm going to click around and show you. So this is the landing page. And so there's not anything in this because this is a demo site because I clearly can't go in as one of you because it would show our student information and this being recorded and streamed. So we could not do that. But right down here, it'll show you your last visited assessments. These are your data view banks that you have favorited. And these are your quick views. So right here is that drop down where you can go to all my students. You could also change by period. So there, and then click the assessment right there from that box if you wanted to. So it shows it right there in that pane as well. I don't know if those are what those are called, but I'm saying it. So you can do that. And then you would have an assessment here. If I go into quick views right here, they actually have some assessments in here. And again, right there, all my students. I can then also go down as well, see CBA 1, 2, 3, and 4 that I gave in English 1 this year. So I want to see all 4 of those tests. And I can either go in and see student scores right here on the side, or that also, if you open it, shows all of the views that you could see previously. They have different ones than what we have, but you can see ours, like where we would go and see student scores, or we would see incorrect response, or I used to have you go into SE item analysis response, which now you can see in the single test on the side. But if you wanted to go into any of those types of views, you could do that and apply it. And immediately when you go, it's going to take you into seeing that view. Once you get here, this view looks very similar, I think, to most of you. You're going to have the drop down at the top and all of that. Your things across here are similar as well. One of the things that Eduphoria has really pointed out is that it's remembering where you went. So if you want to go back, so maybe you're like, oh, I gave CBA 5 and I forgot to choose it. Or you know what? CBA 1 was terrible. I don't want to look at that one. If you follow the breadcrumbs at the top, is where you want to go instead of going over here to the side and going back to quick views or hitting back. If you go here to quick views, it's going to take me right back to where I was. I can say, yep, I don't really care about CBA 1, and immediately takes me off. I can apply, go right back to where I was, the same exact view without having to click a whole bunch of times.
Yes.
So that is kind of the quick views. You can, let me see, reset all of this. You can search by subjects, grades, and filter here. So again, kind of like I mentioned earlier, if I teach math, I want to apply that. And I teach 5th grade. I don't know that they have, but they do. And I want this to be my filter. See right over here to the side. I don't know if y'all can see that little button right there. Save applied filters. I can save that as a filter, and then I can name it 5th math. And then that's going to create that saved filter for me, so that whenever I go back to my overview screen, it should show up as my save filter. It might not let me do it in here, but it'll save it as my filter whenever I go in. It's my save filter right there, 5th math, and I can apply it. I can also, did you see how I can also favorite it right there? So then that filter has been set to load as my default. That means every time I get in, I'm only going to see 5th grade math. So if I just want to have it as a save filter that I can click on and click off, then I would want to do it the way that I did it initially. But if I want to only see 5th grade math every time I come in here, I don't care about any other subject or anything, then I would set it as my default, and you would want it to happen all the time. This is also, it's going to default by the most recent year. So you can, again, I showed you all those filters, or sort by name. I think that's really all of those types of features, again, from the quick views there. And I showed you how to get to your something that's not all of your students at one time. So I think I covered most of the things there. I do want to show you this single test right here because I talked about it briefly. It's going to come up and immediately show you approaches, meet, and masters, and it'll show you that by your different ethnic groups. You have a learning standard summary. So as we get better at putting things in here by DOK level, and as students start to rate themselves, we'll be able to see more. But the most exciting thing for me right now, to be honest, is this item response analysis. And I clearly did not pick a good test to do this with because that one does not have data in it in this thing. Let's see if this one does.
Oh, no,
maybe. Okay, there we go.
A little bit. There we go.
It's a little bit. Your graph hopefully looks better than this one because these are all pretty low. The one that I saw has a ton. I like to continue to see it in number order. You can, in this view, I learned yesterday, I had not played with that, but you can put it in number order or scoring order. If you want to see like the lowest score first or the highest score first, you can change it and it would reorder. All these are clearly scored the same.
Yes.
But you would normally see like a good bar graph across there. So the cool thing is I can see immediately which is my lowest scored item on the test. So I don't have to tally mark or look at multiple reports anymore. I can just click single test, click my test, look right here. Then I can see when I do this, if you go down here, you're going to be able to see there's question 10. And this one doesn't have it, so I hate that. But on the right-hand side, you would be able to see your percentage and what the correct answer is by each of the answer choices that were chosen here. And then you can go down right here and you can even change this to 0 point earns and apply it. And you would see every kid that missed that question and what their response was would show up right here. You can also search by name of a kid. So if I wanted to see a certain kid, I could see a certain kid and I could see that question for that certain child as well.
I like that.
If you wanted to see it more in depth. But this little thing is super fast, super helpful, super easy to get to. I said super thrice.
Super, because it's really
Thrice,
super.
3 times.
So,
Yeah,
okay. So question
really
right there
super.
as a teacher, and this isn't one that's on here right now. So I'm getting, so this data right here, that especially if I group it from the ones who scored the least
Yes.
or missed the most or whatever that question is into the highest, how is that going to help inform my instruction? What are some of the things I can do with that?
Right. So, I mean, like previously we had to pull up a report and we had to say, oh, like what was the most missed question? Well, 100 and something kids took the test. I mean, how many, like, you know, what you had to look down at each of those numbers. And now it's in a bar graph. So now I'm going to look and I'm going to see and I'm going to scroll down and look at that question. And then we can have a conversation immediately about the most missed question. And is my most missed question the same as yours?
Okay.
And like, why or why not do we think that is? And then we can look at the question because it's right there in front of us. So we don't have to bring a printed test out with us or open up another window to see. It's right there. And we would kind of previously look and say, well, I think blah, blah, blah. But now you can see immediately your students and what they chose without having to go to another view in Eduphoria, which you previously had to do to see each student to see what they chose. So you're not speculating immediately about what they chose. You have the percentage, but then you know what your class is and what each individual kid did. And then you can kind of pull it apart and see, like, is there something in the question, that vocabulary that we didn't use in the classroom, or did they miss a step in a math problem? Or, I mean, there's all different reasons why they might miss a question. So
that is great.
And that was kind of the goal of Eduphoria, is that this is displayed in a way that can immediately have you help you have those conversations, and you can move to action of what to do versus having to click, like I just said, open 3 different reports and screens so you could kind of have that conversation previously. So yeah, so pretty cool. So that's that single test analysis again. I think that's pretty cool. I didn't want to forget, like over here on the bottom, I nearly forgot. See how that pane keeps closing down there at the bottom left. So you can reopen it at any time. Bottom left, you can reopen it at any time. Open and close.
There we go. Hold on a second. All right.
So
and show them that again. Okay.
Oh, show them again down at the bottom.
Yes.
Close, open. That little caret at the bottom is what I call it. Greater than, less than. Maybe that's my mathematical term coming out in me. But there you go.
I do like how they've made it kind of similar to other apps and other websites. Sometimes it's like the little 3 lines of hot dogs where you can close and collapse, like in Gmail. So yes, same thing. So I think that's very handy.
Yep.
Especially when you're looking on a Chromebook. Oh my gosh.
Yes. So, I mean, those are kind of all of the big tips and tricks. I mean, just the basic kind of navigation and some of the things currently that I think are really neat. On my end, I love to be able to filter by class for myself, and then I can see under the student profiles is where I think is super cool. And I could see the monitor groups if they've been created, and then I could see those kids. Or I can immediately filter by course. And so I could see how many kids are in a period. So it would tell me right away down there at the bottom that 50 students are in that course. And then you can open up the student. You can scroll over and see all of their teachers and their schedule right there. If they're in a monitor group or not in a monitor group, and you had kids, you would know that. You can even click on this and see them different. You can also click right here on the 3 up and down, and you could turn some of these things off. So I like this. If I wanted to just print my kids that are in a monitor group, I could turn all these other things off. And it would show me just my monitor group or just my course. Or just if they had a form, like those kids have a 504 accommodation form. And then you can even download, oops, I did that on accident. Go back to profiles, take me right back where I was. That's the thing, follow the breadcrumbs at the top. And I can click download right there and then have a list. So from my perspective, I love that because that's super easy. And from an admin, like if I need all the dual credit English kids to be called, or I need to know how many that is, I could look immediately. So I think for a classroom teacher, it would just be, filtering by, who's in special programs and stuff is where that might be helpful. But I love this in the
That's
profiles.
very helpful.
So some things that they mentioned in this webinar, which was at the end of August, that are coming soon, is a line reader tool that can be turned on and turned off in Eduphoria. So I thought, especially our lower grades might like that. You can turn that line reader tool on, and then it would kind of highlight that line as it's reading it. There are some things in here that I have not set up yet, but that I will soon with the enhanced performance levels that are in the new system. So if you are a STAR tested grade, you know that this year we had enhanced performance levels with did not meet low, did not meet high, approaches grade level, approaches low, approaches high. So we had those multiple areas instead of just did not meet, approaches, meets, and masters. Now you have 2 sets of approaches and 2 sets of did not meets. And so we can set all of those levels. So we can see on any assessment that we give, or they did not meet low, did not meet high, approaches low, approaches high, which is important for growth, for tracking that growth for students. So that's in the new one. The mastery tracker is something that just comes with Aware Premium. So we have access to that. And then they've enhanced some of the interactive item types, number line, graphing, match table, grid, and fraction model to more closely align with how it was used on STAR. They're also enhancing, and I love this one because I made the mistake several times on tests last year, that the drag and drop, that the ordering won't matter. If you create drag and drop items, that the ordering in which they drop them won't matter. And they're also working on a way to print if you use interactive item types. So I know that will make some of our teachers super happy as well.
Sounds like there's a lot of great features still to come inside of Eduphoria. That is pretty awesome for, especially like you said, informing our instruction. We do have a really good question here.
Okay.
It comes from April Idy. Okay. April says, I have a very specific question that may or may not be for everyone. But if a student does a test in a small group setting with another person without his or her computer, and I need to input the answers, I do not see where I can make that happen. Does that kind of make sense there?
Where the other person can put in the answers, or where you can put in the answers?
I need to input the answers. I don't see where I can make that happen.
So probably whenever you created the assessment would be probably what happened. If when I go in here and I'm making an assessment, I'm going to have to kind of go in for a second real quick and see if I can.
It says, go to Aware, click on Administer on the left. There's an option to enter answers under Actions. That's Jessica Rich.
Right. That's where it should be. What I'm betting happened is that it didn't get turned on whenever the test was made.
Okay.
Is what I'm guessing. That's why I was trying to get to generate a test really quickly, because I'm betting that whenever the test was made, that ability, you do have to turn that on under administration. You have this is under online. Nope. It should be under administration. This looks different than mine because it's not set up the same. Yep. I might have to log out real quick and just log in as me and create a test.
People said, and I made the test. Oops.
It's okay.
It's okay. It's okay.
I'm just going to show you where to go. It's under administration. So if I go to Aware and I author, let's just go to grade 1 math unit 2. And I go under administration, under collection. It should say general settings, questions teachers can answer and score. And that needs to go to all questions. And then it automatically saves. And so now if you refresh and go back there, you should, as Jessica pointed out, and I do not have that ability because I do not have classes, but you should be able to click on that left-hand side where you're going to administer the assessment, and you should have those buttons now to be able to enter those answers just like you did before.
Okay. So you got to toggle the option on first.
Yes.
Before. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, common things usually if tests aren't showing, or like the end dates are not there. Some things like we don't usually just turn that on because in all grades they don't always go answer questions for kids. But if you want to be able to answer questions for kids other than constructed response, you do have to put it to all questions right there. Yep. There
Oh,
you go.
and she said, there we go. April Ida said, yes, it is there. Thank you now. April, you're welcome
There you go.
from Jessica
Thank you for
and Colette.
asking.
There you go.
Yeah.
Good job. All right, guys, any more questions? We're nearing towards the end of our live stream today. Some great questions in there. Let's see. Anybody
What
else?
was your favorite thing you learned today?
Ooh,
Maybe.
that's a good one.
Yeah. I
That's a good
know.
one.
What was your favorite? Did everybody learn one thing? I hope. I hope you
Mhm.
learned one thing.
Let's see what we got here.
I mean, Carrie was at like the top, so she might not have learned anything new, but maybe everybody learned one thing.
I would say, oh, here we go. Okay. So we have April who said, love the graph with the most missed questions. Okay. Diana Newton also loved the graphs. Graphs are getting some
I
love
know
today.
I
All
love
right.
graphs
It's that
too.
visual
I
that's
know.
right
Yes.
there.
I
Yes.
am a visual learner, so I appreciate that.
Who else? Let's see here. Mary Shrunk and Leanne Vetter says setting up the filters. Setting up the filters.
And then saving those. And then
Yes.
they'll save for you.
Yes. So just like because they can do that in Skyward too when they're doing looking for attendance filter, grade. Okay, so yes, so guys, look, these are very helpful features right there for you. Eduphoria did that for you in the new Eduphoria.
That's right. That's right.
Or
And
is
the
that
new.
the new Aware?
New
Is
aware.
new Aware?
New
Okay.
aware.
New Aware.
Yeah, new aware. Yeah, remember you can set those filters and then you can save them right over there. You can sort by any of this as well if you needed to, but the filters and saving them are super helpful. And that drop down there, I only have analyze as myself right now, but you all have your classes right there.
Right. Okay, Cindy Kane. Cindy Keen. I love I can quickly see who missed a specific question. That's in
Good.
there, and she can get that, and she can save that in there as well. And then Mills said being able to filter for a specific test. Okay, I forgot about that part that you went over there. All right. Diana Newton has a question. Will the filters just stay, or do you always have to hit the little flag?
So if you set a filter and you set it as default, it's hard for me. Let me see if I can do one real quick. And then if I set it as math, and I'm just going to go with first grade, April, and then I hit it here and I name it first math, I can create it. And then right here, it's going to do that, but I can hit that little star right here. If you can see that, if I hit that star, do you see it said set as default? And so now whenever I go to my quick view, I'm only going to see first grade math every time that I get in.
Perfect.
Now I can reset that filter. It's not like I can't ever see anything else. So I can reset my filter. But if I set it as default, then it'll be my default. If I don't, it's just there as a filter. So then, yes, I could come in here and instead of having to click like I just did the subject and the grade, I could click here, click first math and apply, and I would only see first grade math.
Right.
Does that answer your question?
Diana says perfect. She loved that. Love that. Care filter. Ha, so I got filters on the brain too. Carrie Farrell.
You're like combining all kinds of names. Yeah, that's pretty good.
New name, Carrie Filter. Here we go. So Carrie Farrell. She was at a 2, getting better, more like a 3 now. She misspoke. It's okay, or you mistyped.
Oh, because she doesn't want to have to lead it next.
She likes to monitor group options and plans to also pull accommodations as the filter options. So that's pretty cool. So thank you for sharing that. Guys, great question. We got about a minute left. Is any other questions out there? If you do have questions, so remember, you can reach out to the curriculum at robinson.k12.th.us. Don't do the rsdweb.org. Don't do that. I misspoke.
Yeah, curriculum at robinson.k12.tx.us.
Yes.
It's like a dance.
Yes.
The whole link.
And I'm sure they will make sure and make that you get those answers answered pretty good. And it sounds like y'all would be able to help other people too.
I
Well.
agree.
Like you've learned a lot today.
Yeah.
All right. And then we'll have this also up on our site for you to be able to go in there and rewatch it. Be sure to share with your friends and other peers and let them know, hey, this is available. the new Aware is here
Yeah.
and it ain't going anywhere.
That is correct. Good job. Good job. The classic is gone. No going back, only going forward. But if you think of something later, or you forgot how to access something, always reach out to me. I'm more than happy to help. I do not know why, but these types of things get like photographically
Mm,
in my brain, and I can just tell you from
mhm.
anywhere
Yes, you
usually
can.
where to go and how to get there.
Yes, you
So
can. I can.
I'm happy to help anytime.
You can.
Love having the opportunity to help.
All right. Well, guys, thank y'all so much. Yes, thank y'all so much. They're loving the fewer clicks and they're loving the session. So we're gonna, like I said, continue to do more of these. This is part one of who knows how many when it comes to doing Eduphoria and Aware, things like that. If there are others out there too as well, be sure to let us know what you would like to learn about too in this type of format, because this is what this is about. So thank y'all very much. And any more parting words?
No, I had a wonderful day at the primary today in and out of classrooms. It was so great. So I hope that you guys have a great Friday tomorrow too.
All right.
Happy homecoming.
Happy homecoming.
That's right.
Happy homecoming.
Yeah.
Thank y'all. We'll see you later.